Hello, everyone. Welcome to our program today. Again, this is the 36th day. 36 days is a long time. We hope that you have been benefiting from these sessions as we did ourselves. We have so much beautiful things we want to share with you all, with the hope that you will feel the meditation, that you will feel the connection with your spirit, the connection with this beautiful, generous, benevolent, creating mother and father who have created this world, basically. So just as an introduction, before I introduce Richard, is that so we're trying to reach a lot of people on the internet because it's important. But at the same time, we want you to feel that we are connecting with you individually. Because in the same way that we have learned about this meditation, we have grown day after day, we were looked after by friends, by people, or by Sri Mataji herself, taking care of every step on our way to establish every chakra, every understanding we had to discover, and especially how to handle our meditation. This is our main focus doing these programs. It gives us a lot of joy, and because when we share it, it nourishes us as well. So let me introduce you to Richard. Richard is going to present the program today. Bonjour, Richard.
Bonjour, Jean-Michel.
So before we introduce the topic, I just wanted to ask you, Richard. So you are actually quite far away, isn't it?
Well, it depends how you define far away.
In your heart, you're very close. But
yeah.
You're far.
It's a great question. Jean-Michel and I've known each other for a long time, and at the moment, Jean-Michel is in Sydney, and I'm actually over on the other side of Australia, in Perth, in Western Australia. So,
how many hours flight is it to go there?
It's one way. If you go one way, it's 5 hours. If you go the other way, it's 4 hours. And the reason is because there's a very powerful wind at high altitude going from east to west, so that the aircraft actually goes a lot quicker with a tailwind than it does going in the other direction. That's called a jet stream, these high altitude winds. And of course, airlines love to take advantage of that because it saves fuel.
So that's what we're trying to do in this program, is to take everyone on the jet stream.
Yes, yeah. That's right. It's interesting.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the metaphors just come pouring out, don't they? Because here we are all together, and in a way, Jean-Michel and I are kind of in the cockpit. Jean-Michel is the captain. I'm the first officer. But really, that's where the analogy or the metaphor kind of falls down, because in fact, all of us doing this, whether it's on YouTube or on Zoom, are all together and equal. And just like the different parts of our body, everything has a function, and it's all we are all one. And I guess that's one of the things that I've come to realize more and more doing Sahaja Yoga meditation, and that is that it's not just a concept, but we are actually all one. And one within ourselves and one with this whole creation that Jean-Michel was referring to.
You have to stop talking because you make me thoughtless.
Well, That's it.
That's the whole point. So I just have a question for you. When did you start Sahaj?
Yeah, I grew up in Perth and went over in 1990 to Sydney for work. And within 6 months, I had discovered, like you were saying earlier, Jean-Michel, through a friend that I was working with, actually doing some workshops, some acting classes. And Sunil, who you know, invited me to a session. There was no real internet in those days. So we actually met together in somebody's house and sat in the same room and did pretty much what we do here online. I guess the only difference was afterwards we'd have tea and cake and biscuits and stuff like that. So that's how I started.
And after that, did you have a chance to meet Shrimadaji?
I did. I was fortunate. So throughout the 90s, I would say, Shrimadaji, came to Australia quite a few times. I also travelled overseas to India and Europe and so on, and met Shrimadaji not so much on a personal basis because the numbers of people were getting quite large by then. But on a few occasions, I was fortunate enough to basically sit by her side and sing a few songs. I was one of the musicians on some occasions, so I was able to get up close in that sort of way. But then prior to that, in the 80s, of course, people talk about sitting down to breakfast with Shrimadaji or driving the car with her and things like that. So,
and a more personal note, what is your experience of Shrimadaji inside, or what is your experience of Shrimadaji?
Yeah. So the first time I saw a video of Shrimadaji's talk, my initial kind of connection with her was because she was born in the subcontinent and speaks English with a bit of an accent. I could relate to her as a mother because my own mum, who's Polish, also spoke with a bit of an accent. So different, accents, but that was one of my earliest experiences, was that this was somebody who is really like a mother, and and that was my connection. As things went along, I realized that was not just me, that was everybody was relating to Shrimadaji as a mother. In fact, Shrimadaji really just means revered mother. And I guess I then started to realize just how she was really the divine mother. And, while we're all kind of flawed in our own ways as human beings, that she was really somebody who was perfect and the perfect mother, and that she's reflected within all of us as the Kundalini. So everything started to kind of become much bigger and broader and more profound as time went on. But the feeling really started in the heart. I guess that's the main thing. And then later on, I started to understand and perhaps understand things a bit more mentally. But as time went on, I realized that none of what you do here in Sahaja Yoga is mental. We can talk about things, but the experience is paramount. And that really is something that we feel, not in the emotional sense, but literally what we feel on our central nervous system.
Yes, it's very paradoxical, isn't it? It just puts my attention on something, is that our power as a Sahaja Yogi, as a realized soul, is in the surrender, as opposed to the traditional way we look at life, let's
Yeah.
say, before starting meditation, where we decide, I am going to do this job, I'm going to fight for my position, I'm going to succeed. All of this is good. But the moment we start meditating, we realize that through experience, we realize that our power is the surrender, where we don't
Yeah.
have to push too hard. We have to do the right thing, and things happen very nicely, very balanced, without us having to push, fight, and struggle and argue. And I thought that that's magical for me. That it was a big discovery.
Exactly. And for the mind, it's definitely a paradox.
Yeah.
Not so much for the heart, not so much for the child within us, but every day I'm reminded that we start to go off on a mental journey or trip, and then we just come back. And I guess it's interesting because after doing Sahaja Yoga for 30 years, I'm reminded constantly that we certainly learn a bit more about the detail and useful things about ourselves and about others, but constantly it's a case of coming back to the basics. And so those things that I discovered on those very first few days, just like maybe some of the participants we have with us tonight, that's what you keep coming back to. It's all about the basics, and it's all about letting go, as you say, and about surrendering. So
Today's
going to do
program,
tonight.
yeah, today's program is very much, auspicious in what we're discussing now. It's about the knots of illusion, and that's for me. That's a very actually. I'm very excited to hear you, because that's not something we talk about every day, but we would experience this every day, as you just mentioned. Is when you go on a tangent in your mind, that's when the illusion starts. So okay, so we will do this. You will do this presentation. So what, as we discussed before, what we are going to do now, I'm going to do a short meditation, because I like to meditate. We're going to lead a short meditation, and after that, Richard will take on the program and for this jet stream.
Great idea, Michelle.
All right. So let's relax. Let's close our eyes. Just focus our attention inside. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to so let's keep our attention inside ourselves. Our body is made of vibrations. Our thoughts are waves. When we speak, we emit vibrations through our voice. Let us focus on the vibrations in us, not on the body, not on the mind, just on the vibrations. The vibration in us is our heart beating. Let us put our attention in our heart. We just relax. We don't put any effort. Just put your attention within your heart. Just relax. Now we put our attention inside the stomach at the belly button. Putting our attention doesn't mean thinking about it. It's only like a feather landing on your hand. This is where our attention is. So we just land our attention in our third chakra, in the stomach, with no effort, no tension, no thoughts. Just relax. Let the vibrations of our heart nourish our Nabi chakra in the stomach. We don't put any effort. We're going to raise our left hand, facing backward, and keeping our right hand open on the left. I am the spirit. I am not the thoughts. I do not do anything. You do everything. Now we relax our neck and shoulders, straighten our neck, bringing inside our chin inward. Now we can place down our left hand, and with the right hand, we start from the left side of the brain and pull it down to the right 7 times. Our body is like a flute, a hollow tube And in that fluid, Kundalini energy is rising. Let us place our attention just above the head, with no effort, without thinking. And we just say in our heart, I forgive everybody. I forgive everything. I forgive everybody. Now we can place our hand at the base of the hairline, just above the sixth chakra. This is the location of what we call the Ekadesha Rudra. We have 11 powers in this area to protect us against anything preventing our establishment of our self-realization, our meditation. So we just place our attention on these rudras, these powers, without thinking. Mother, please, give me the power. Give me the power to strengthen my self-realization. Then we take our hand above the head. We can lift our hand higher. Actually, I would like to, for those who want to say it, is we can say the Lord's Prayer for this chakra here. I will just say it. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Now I will let Richard present the program on the knot of illusions.
Thanks, Jean-Michel. So the meditation that we've just been enjoying is really where we want to be. So I'm going to just explain a little bit about the three Granthis. But while we're doing this, later on we'll listen to some music. Whatever we do, the important thing is that we want to spend as much time as possible in thoughtless awareness and in meditation. So when we finish, when it's time to get up, when we finish our meditation, for example, then we raise our kundalini, we give ourselves a bandhan, and it's not so much to finish, but it's to sustain us in that connected meditative state. Whatever we may do, going to work, going to sleep, having food, preparing food or whatever. So even while I explain a little bit about the mechanics of our subtle system, we can keep our attention just resting here above the head. And so whether it's me or anyone else, we still, in a sense, in a very real sense, we continue to be in meditation. And that's the objective. So we have these 7 chakras within us. We have 3 major channels, a left channel, a right channel, and a central channel. And we can actually maybe look at a chart just to refresh ourselves about what the subtle system looks like. And there it is. So maybe you're very familiar with this subtle system chart, or maybe not. It doesn't really matter. It's really quite simple. And as we go along, we start to experience the qualities of our different chakras. And they have many qualities, but there are certain key qualities that we can see depicted there on those 7 chakras. We also know that the left channel that originates from the very first chakra, the blue line, is the side of our desire, essentially. Without desire, nothing happens. And depending on what we desire, different outcomes can be experienced. And then on the right channel, which originates from the second chakra, you can see there above the triangular bone, that yellow line comes from the second chakra, and it goes up the right side, and it's the side of action. So we start with desire, and then that desire manifests in action. So our sympathetic nervous system can be either leaning one way or leaning the other. And then we have this central channel, which comes up from the triangular bone all the way up and to the top of the head. And it opens at the top of the head. There's an opening there. Whereas the left and the right channels, they both terminate as those balloons. So the yellow balloon there on the left side of the head is the ego, and on the right side, the blue balloon or bladder is the conditionings or the superego. So we want to be in the center. We don't want to be on a journey that ends up a dead end. We want to be on a journey that continues forever. And the Kundalini comes from the triangular bone, the sacrum bone, up through the central channel and out through the top of the head. So, as we know, the chakras can get blocked, and basically what we're always aiming for is to remove any obstacles so that the Kundalini can flow freely and so that the chakras can spin without obstruction. Now, what happens is that there are 3 Granthis, which is a Sanskrit expression, which basically means knot. So a very simple way to understand what can happen is that these channels can get knotted up. Not literally, but the energy can get blocked in these 3 channels. So on the left channel, we can experience a knot, which has been described as the Brahma Granthi, and on the right channel, you can have a knot slightly further up the channel, sort of towards the area of the heart, which is called as Vishnu Granthi. And then right at the top of the central channel, in the area around the Agya, here, the 6th center, we can experience a knotting, which has been described as the Rudra Granthi. So, with the blockage of either the left channel, the right channel, or the central channel. So the left channel, the Brahma Granthi as it's called, there are these 3 aspects of the divine: the Brahma, the Vishnu, and the Sadashiva. And with the Brahma Granthi, what happens is that when we become, our focus becomes very materialistic. We focus on matter. We focus on the physical world, if you like, and all its different subtle combinations and permutations. But basically, when we become very materialistic in our desire is for matter, for commodities, for all these different things, money. Then what happens is the left channel can get blocked, and it can get blocked very low down, right down towards in that area of the sacrum bone there, below the level of the 2nd chakra. So when that happens, the Kundalini doesn't get very far at all. It's lucky if it even can rise up to the 2nd or 3rd chakra. On the right side, we can get this knot of Vishnu Granthi, which takes place around the area, the chest, you could say, the thoracic area here. And this happens when we start to feel through our actions that we're doing it. We might have some success in our job, for example, or it might be a very small thing, a very big thing. But when we start to feel that we're doing it and we start to take credit for everything that happens, then this knot occurs and our heart is affected, because in fact we are the spirit, and the power of the spirit is that it witnesses, and that really human beings don't do any living work. We don't do any living work. All the living work is done by the divine. We can't even sprout a seed. We can't convert a flower into a fruit. All we can do is rearrange things that are essentially dead. So we can make a piece of furniture. We can paint some art, create a beautiful sculpture, write a report at work, write an email, send a text. But we're not actually doing any living work. And any living work that results from that is not our doing, it's the workings of the divine within us, as well as the divine that's all around us. Then the third knot is the one that can take place, the Rudra Granthi as it's called, on the central channel, which takes place in the area, this area here. So we're so close to the point of connection of yoga, which is just above the head, and yet we can be so far away, because if the Kundalini gets stuck here, it's still stuck. We still can't experience our connection. We can't experience thoughtless awareness. We can't enjoy meditation. And we can't enjoy the transformational experience of having our self-realization. And that happens when we are seeking, we tell ourselves, yes, we're surrendered to the divine, we're surrendered to our Kundalini, but it becomes, as we were saying earlier in the introduction, we were saying that this can become mental. So it's a constant challenge in the sense that we become fundamentalist, and that this living process that's happening within us, we start to experience it mentally, and it can be very subtle. And when it does happen, then this knot occurs, and this narrow passageway here for the Kundalini becomes completely blocked up and knotted and twisted. And so we have to introspect and just go back to our true self, which is the spirit, and to allow the knot to unfurl. So that's just a very quick sort of summary of how these knots work, where they affect us. But essentially, wherever we're knotted up, it's going to stop us from being in connection with this all-pervading power, and stops us from being integrated within. So what's the solution? The solution is to keep letting go, to keep going back to the basics, to keep realizing that it's not about what we think, it's about what we feel, it's about what we experience on our central nervous system. So in a sense, it becomes more of a challenge as we, the more time we spend doing Sahaja Yoga, because we have to watch out and make sure that we're being real and not becoming experts, as it were. Like a PhD, having a PhD in Sahaja Yoga. It's not about that. That's actually a trap. So we're going to watch a video now where it's introduced by Sri Mataji, and an excerpt of a talk that she's given about these three Granthis. And the presenter is a Swedish Sahaja Yogi by the name of Goran, and he's going to also take us through some mantras Some of you may have experienced mantras before, and these mantras are directed at unblocking these 3 knots that we may have within us. So just enjoy it, go along with it, and just treat it as a meditation, as we always do. Allow the attention to rest above the head. And then after this, this video, we're going to watch a short excerpt of a talk, a very early talk of Sri Mataji's back from 1980, where she talks about going with the flow. The talk was given in India, so she's referring to the Ganges River and how we have to just flow like the River Ganges. And I apologize for the technical quality of that talk. It's a very early talk, but like a lot of those early talks, it's a very powerful, salient talk. So we're just going to watch the video now about the 3 Granthis and watch this short talk by Sri Mataji, and then we'll come back for a guided meditation.
There are 3 Granthis, means the knots. The Brahma Granthi, the Vishnu Granthi, and the Rudra Granthi. With Agni means fire. When Brahma Granthi meets, between the Kundalini, Muladhara, Chakra, and the Swadhisthana, means Muladhara Chakra, Muladhara and Swadhisthana Chakra. Then Agni Brahma Granthi is established. Vishnu Granthi, when mixes up with the Surya, that is between the Nabhi and the Hridaya Chakra, Surya Vishnu Granthi is established. When Vishuddhi and Agya auras meet, then Chandra Rudra Granthi is established.
Brahma Granthi. The first knot is created by our attention, becoming entangled with matter and materialism. It starts from Muladhara, moves up the left channel and creates the superego. By its action, we lose sight of the spirit. To overcome it, we should put our attention on the spirit and not on worldly matters. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahma Granthi Vibedini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Vishnu Granthi, the second knot, is the one by which we think that we can do something and achieve something in this world. The more we think and strive and live with our ambitions, the more its action moves up the right side and creates the ego. Human beings cannot break the second knot. Only God can do it. So here we must respect ourselves and surrender ourselves to God. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Vishnu Granthi Vibhedini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Rudra Granthi, the third and last knot, occurs on the central channel due to the artificiality in seeking. We have to be truthful and honest in our seeking, absolutely on the truth. We are seeking the Spirit, to become one with the Spirit, and all our attention should go on the Spirit and should not be frittered away on nonsensical things. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Rudra Granthi Vibhedini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha.
Everybody was feeling very nice when they came here, happy, and they felt their vibrations were all right. But it was not so. Should be on the alert. Ask each other to check you. Be humble about it. You must go on checking. Unless and until you check yourself, how will you know what's the thing you are catching? Ask others to check you and be humble, very humble about it. Do not take things for granted, because unless and until we transform ourselves, Sahaja Yoga has no meaning to you. You see, it would be very material way of expression of Sahaja Yoga, like this radio or this transistor or this loudspeaker are just radiating. We have to know that Sahaja Yoga is not just to pass energy through us. Like all other material things are passing energy. This mic is passing the energy, this transistor is passing the energy, and all other such things are just passing the energy. Nothing goes into them. Like an artist is singing, and nothing passes into the radio. In the same way, if our power starts flowing because somehow the Kundalini has been connected with the mains, it has not done its job. Neither you have done any justice to yourself. So you have to absorb that flow of the Ganges within you and assimilate it and transform yourself. The Ganges would be flowing, but if it is flowing through the stony area, the stones are not going to absorb anything from the river Ganges. But if it is flowing through fertile land, everybody will be making use of that water. So you have to make use of your Kundalini by transforming yourself. Try to transform. See that how much you transform. Now the expectation about Kundalini becomes so Sahaja, they call it, in the very funny manner, that people think that Kundalini should work it out itself, while we are stones on both the sides, and the Kundalini is going to work it out, which is very, very wrong idea. If the river Ganges is flowing, you have to go to the river. You have to fill your pitchers. You have to have beautiful pitchers. You have to carry them. You have to bring them home and then use the water for enrichment of your food, of your household. In the same way, if you cannot transform yourself, if you cannot change yourself, then this Kundalini will be just going like a thin line and you will be catching all the time and there won't be much progress. The progress must be shown outside. Those who think that by saying mantras morning till evening, they are going to achieve much, they are sadly mistaken. It's all mechanical then. So many people have a habit of all the time shouting mantras. It's not habit. Mantras should open your chakras, otherwise it has no meaning. They should be used properly at key points, with great respect, with great understanding, and then allow them to open your chakras, by which you take the water in of that great thing known as Kundalini. The greatest blessing will come to you through her love, but not the way people are. Just they think there should be no transformation. If you are identified with your ego and think you are all right, you are sadly mistaken. You have to transform completely within yourself. Some people, if their circumstances are changed, then they feel very well and they think, oh, they have achieved the highest. It is not so. It is only the circumstance that has changed, only the atmosphere that has changed, and that makes you feel that you have achieved something great. You have to achieve it wherever you are. It should be retained and must be there. But by coming to a quieter place, you can pay more attention. That's why you are here. But by coming here, if you just feel nice and think that, oh, you have achieved everything, then you are sadly mistaken. You have to grow in this atmosphere. You have come here to grow and to be changed, to be a different person altogether.
We're just going to sit quietly for a few minutes in complete silence and experience the feeling of meditation, the thoughtless awareness. Our palms facing upwards, opening ourselves, exposing ourselves to these vibrations, to our Kundalini from within, and allowing the attention just to rest there above the head. And allowing this transformation to take place. So now we'll just sit quietly for a couple of minutes and imbibe the vibrations, even from Sri Mataji's talk. And we can just pray silently in our heart, Mother Kundalini, please transform me. I am not today who I was yesterday or the day before. Let me use these powers that I have. Thanks to you and thanks to my connection with the all-pervading power. We become your instrument, just as I've been transformed. Let me help others to become self-realized, to have their Kundalini awakened. Show me how I can best share what I have with all the seekers that are around. And let me be ready when those opportunities appear before me. So now we're going to just stop talking for a while and continue with our meditation, continue with being in thoughtless awareness while we listen to some music and watch a video. This music video comes from the International Sahaja Yoga public school in India, and nobody knows about the power of the divine better than children. So let's just enjoy this. How good was that? That was the children, some of the children from the International Sahaja Public School in India, which welcomes kids from all over the world to spend some of their formative years immersed in the culture and understandings of what we're doing here, which is Sahaja Yoga meditation, while they learn to read and write and do all those other things as well. So I guess Jean-Michel can't be too far away. And
thank you so
yeah.
much. This was amazing video I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And you know when it was recorded?
Just recently, I believe. I don't know to be exact, but I've got a feeling it's quite recent.
Yeah,
and I only saw it for the first time just a few days ago myself.
Children are precious. This is so beautiful to see. Like if I remember my childhood, if I was given the opportunity to discover the beauty in me, as what these children have expressed in this video, how better could it be for a child to be glorified that like this? It's really beautiful.
So true. I actually believe that was part of a longer concert presentation that the kids did for Sri Mataji's birthday, which was like literally on Monday, so the 21st of March. Some people will be aware was Sri Mataji's 99th birthday, and I've got a feeling that video was prepared just to present some of what they do as a birthday gift or presentation.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So why? Because you just presented that video, I might ask you, do you know why Sri Mataji created that school in India? What was the motivation to create that school?
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't been there myself. Like you, I went to regular schools when I was growing up.
I've been a few times.
Yeah. So it was created basically to allow kids, like you were saying, to be brought up in a way that allows them to start learning about Sahaja Yoga, as well as learning about all those other things that we need to learn when we go to school from an early age. And not only to learn about things, but to make it a shared experience so they can be with other kids who are at their level as well. And it's in a very beautiful part in the north of India. And there are other Sahaja Yoga schools around the world as well, in North America, Europe, and maybe one day there'll be another one in Australia as well. And that's the idea, is that kids really need to, there's so many challenges these days to all of us, and especially to children, so many challenges to their innocence.
What I've noticed is the children, so my children went to this school, and what I noticed about children who have spent a few years in this boarding school is that they are very focused, they're very centered, they're very generous. They have this this sense of strength and freedom in them, but at the same time very gentle. These are the main qualities I've noticed in these children. They're very strong, they know what they do, they know what they want, but at the same time very gentle. And I went there a few times, and I met the children over there, and it's in the Himalayas, so the climate is a bit rough, like, you know, it can be. There is wildlife as well. It's in India. It doesn't have all the comforts that you would have in a 5-star hotel over here, but the quality of life they had, the experience in that school, also with kids from Russia, America, South America, China, New Zealand,
Right.
yeah. Every country is represented there. And then they are taught about art, music, singing, dancing, and all the academics. In India, the academics are very strong because in India in general, the competition is so hard that if you don't study, you don't succeed. So the teachers are actually from either India or Western countries. And the academic is pretty good. So yeah, so that was good to introduce that this school. So I just wanted to ask everyone, if you have any question about this program, what was said, what we experienced today, please feel free to send a message in the chat and we will try to answer if you have any question. Or if you want to make any comment, please feel free. Richard, anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to get any comments or any questions for sure on anything really. It doesn't have to be on specifically what we were doing today, but that's a very good point you raised there, Jean-Michel, because as you say, your kids have actually been to ISPS, so you've got that first-hand understanding. But kids from all over the world interacting with each other, not necessarily something that happens in other boarding schools. It usually tends to be, kids from a particular socio-economic background, from a particular location, and so on. So in many ways, the International Sahaja Yoga School is unique. But also, in a broader sense, it just reminds us that whatever age we may be, that within us we have this inner child. And so when we watch kids doing what they do, it just reminds us just how wise they are when they're not overwhelmed by all the sort of worries of adulthood, but also that each one of us has this inner child within us, the qualities of innocence and wisdom and gravity that kids have, and we just need to uncover it. Doing Sahaja Yoga meditation is by far perhaps the only way to really keep in touch with those qualities and our own inner child.
That was our motivation to send our children to this school, and it's a boarding school, so they would go away for a few months, come back, and go back. And we were in the beginning, we did a try in the beginning. We were thinking, oh, maybe it's going to be hard and difficult to be separated, but it turned out that we didn't feel the separation. We felt constantly in close contact with the children. And when they came back, I was very surprised when they came back after a few months. I didn't feel the separation. When I met them after a few months, I felt as if they were home yesterday. Honestly, it was really remarkable. And that's why we've done it. And I wish I had this opportunity when I was a child to develop myself in that beautiful environment. But
as they say, you got to live your dreams through your children.
Yes. So we have a beautiful message from my sister Rina from South Africa, and she just commenting, peaceful and beautiful meditation. Thank you, Uncle Jean-Michel and Uncle Richard. The dance video was really awesome. Thank you very much, Rina.
Yeah, thanks, Rina. I appreciate those comments.
All right, so we don't have any questions. So if you leave, Richard, I'll leave it with you if you want to play something else. Oh, hang on, there is a... No, she said you are welcome.
Jean-Michel, I really feel like it's been a wonderful collective meditation tonight. So maybe I'm happy just to wrap it up, and maybe we can just raise our Kundalini, give ourselves a bandhan, and invite people who want to stay on a bit longer. We've got some more music.
Yes.
The first piece of music was recorded in Western Australia by 3 great Sahaja Yogi musicians that we have over here. So please enjoy, and maybe we can just finish by raising our Kundalini and giving ourselves a bandhan. So thanks very much, John Michelle, and thanks to everybody for meditating with us today.
Thank you, Kanan, for the panel also. And Holker for support. Everybody, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And thank you again, Richard. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.